In a sunny meadow, filled with tall grass and bright wildflowers, lived two clever little animals, a weasel named Willow and a ferret named Felix. Willow, the weasel, was small and slender, with a sleek brown coat and sharp, curious eyes. She loved exploring the meadows and figuring out new tricks. Felix, the ferret, was a bit bigger, with a fluffy tail and a playful nature. He was always up for a game and loved working on fun challenges. One morning, Willow and Felix were out on an adventure together. They raced through the tall grass, jumping over rocks and chasing each other. It was a beautiful day, and they were having a great time. As they ran, they suddenly came across a problem. Right in front of them was a giant tree that had fallen across the meadow. The huge trunk blocked their way completely. Willow and Felix looked at each other in surprise. "This is strange," said Willow, tilting her head. "I don't remember this tree being here before." Felix scratched his head with his tiny paw. "It must have fallen during the storm last night," he said. "But how are we going to get across? The tree is too tall to climb over and too thick to squeeze through." Willow frowned and tapped her foot, thinking hard. She was good at solving problems, and she loved a good challenge. Felix, on the other hand, paced back and forth, trying to come up with an idea. After a few moments, Felix suddenly grinned. "I've got it," he exclaimed. "Let's try digging under the tree. We're both good at digging, and we might be able to make a tunnel." Willow's eyes lit up. "That's a great idea, Felix," she said. "Let's give it a try." Together, the weasel and the ferret started digging into the soft earth beneath the fallen tree. They dug quickly, using their sharp claws to move the dirt. But as they worked, they realized that the ground was filled with thick roots. It was taking much longer than they expected, and they were getting tired. Willow sat back, catching her breath. "This isn't working," she said, feeling frustrated. "The roots are too strong. We need a different plan." Felix nodded, wiping dirt from his nose. "You're right," he said. "But what else can we try?" Willow narrowed her eyes, looking at the tree trunk carefully. Then she noticed something interesting. There was a small hollow at the base of the tree, just big enough for a tiny animal to squeeze through. "I have an idea," Willow said, her face lighting up. "Look at that hollow. It's small, but if we can make it a little bigger, we might be able to fit through." Felix clapped his paws together excitedly. "Brilliant, Willow," he said. "You always notice the little details." They both got to work again, using their claws to scrape away the loose wood around the hollow. It was a bit tricky, but they were patient and careful, making sure not to hurt themselves. Little by little, the hole got bigger and bigger. Finally, it was big enough for them to fit through. Willow went first, squeezing her slender body through the opening. Felix followed right behind her, wiggling his way through with a big smile on his face. They popped out on the other side of the tree and looked back at the path they had made. Felix jumped up and down with joy. "We did it," he cheered. "We solved the problem together." Willow grinned and gave Felix a playful nudge. "It wasn't easy, but we didn't give up," she said. "That's the key to solving problems. You have to try different ideas and keep going, even when it's tough." Felix nodded happily. "You're right, Willow," he said. "And it's even better when you have a friend to figure things out with." The two friends continued their adventure, feeling proud of what they had accomplished. They knew that no matter what challenges came their way, they could solve any problem as long as they used their heads and worked together. The end.